Hulk smash! Wait a second. I didn't know that Hasbro had connections with Marvel. Or maybe it's just a reference. Whatever. Okay, so this is episode 11, Party Poop. And it's a Pinkie Pie centered episode. So we'll be expecting some everyday Pinkie Pie things in this episode. Okay, so beginning with the story, it's about a bunch of Vikings kind of, people who visit the ponies because there's somehow a settlement of friendship going on in Ponyville where they have to, or Twilight and her friends has to make amends with these Viking characters. Like they said, so they're kind of like, pretty like strong, manly Vikings who kind of remind me of like people from How to Train Your Dragon. And let me tell you that in the story, like I said before, they're trying to make amends with them by trying to see if they can all be friends. So what they do is that they decide to set a party for them so they can feel right at home. But the problem is, every attempt they try to do, they end up, not as well. And pretty much we get the Hulk reference. Literally everything, this is not how it goes. We smash! Like, it's really funny just to see these guys, really put it out. Like these Vikings trying to smash everything they can. It does remind me of the Hulk and how he's angry just because he gets upset about something. So Twilight gets incredibly nervous and we get more hilarious faces. And I'll be heading back to the story, but I just want to know this. How is it possible? I'm just very fascinated on how they do this in the show. Like, almost every single episode, they get like one of the best, funniest faces or expressions on this show. I'm just have no words to say about this because, like, how do they do it? I mean, with an animation like Flash, obviously you can pretty much do something simple with that. I mean, I'm not very an expert on how Flash works, but it's known as the cheapest way of like animating something. But like, how do they manage to make all those expressions like very unique and always keep it fresh and new? Like, you ever see those expressions in animes where they always have like those big heads or those crazy eyes or even some of the most freakiest faces you've ever seen before, but it's always repeated and repeated and it's always similar face. In Friendship is Magic, we like these faces that all these characters make are so unique, so clever, and it never gets boring just to see their faces. Because, like, they just make one of the most hilarious faces I've ever seen. Like, this is one of those examples. Twilight makes a really funny face, and Pinkie Pie just pretty much just takes it over. She takes it over with this very face that I just pretty much uploaded. I just put on Twitter. Like, I put this face and, like, that's pretty much the image of the episode. That face is just incredibly amazing. I want to know how they do it. What is the secret of how they make these expressions fresh and new every time a new episode comes up? I really like to know. Okay, coming back to it, so everything turns out terrible, and so now it's up to Pinkie Pie to try to save the day, because, she is the party planner and she's the best at that. So what she does, she travels to the Viking home, and, her trip goes as crazy as we find out, and hey, we find that cherry lady from the episode The Last Roundup, and so she ends up going with her, but then, Pinkie Pie makes this epilogic speech about her journey, and while she's doing it, the cherry lady gets bored and almost kills Pinkie off the rail. Okay. So Pinkie Pie, while she's traveling, we see her monologue about stuff, and there's even like a little bit of a Beatles reference on like what really happened to the Beatles, except it's with Pinkie Pie. So then when she finally makes it there, we get one of the best scenes in the show. I'm not going to say what it is, but let me tell you that that is one of the best scenes I have ever seen in MLP. Like, it's one of the greats. So after that, we find out that Twilight doesn't know about Pinkie Pie's appearance until Gummy comes and gives her the letter. And so then, while searching Pinkie Pie's room, they end up finding some kind of special bat cave where Pinkie Pie somehow is more organized than what she truly is. Now, here's the thing. I'm not as surprised. I'm going to sound like a little bit mean, but I wasn't as surprised as everybody else was when they saw, like, oh my gosh, so Pinkie Pie is more than a pony. She actually learns and organizes stuff. I mean, here's the thing. When I first saw the character, I knew something was up. There has to be something about her that makes her so unique, so wonderful, so loving to really, care for, because she is a great, great character to watch. But I pretty much suspected that. I mean, she's a person who plans parties. Obviously, party planners have to be organized, but she, makes sure, it's everything. Also, we find out that Twilight is afraid of enchiladas. Or wait, was it quesadillas? I think it was quesadillas. But the reason why she hates them is because it's too cheesy. I think there's a joke there that I'm not understanding. I mean, it has something to do with very cheesy. Like, something's cheesy about it. Like, I don't know what joke it is. But, maybe I'll find out what it is. But, like I said, it's cheesy. But, okay, so then, we discover Pinkie Pie's more organized than usual, she's more responsible, and she hears her friends talking about her, and she, gets into tears knowing how much they understand and care about her. And so now, Pinkie Pie, even though she couldn't find the answer, she somehow figures out the answer herself, and tries to give the Vikings the best party ever, while going up a slide. And we get a funny line from Fluttershy, and pretty much, I think we all can realize it, but we cannot question the logic of this show, because it's impossible. We can never understand the logic. They, break every rule, break every boundary of logic that this show has had. I don't know what it is. I mean, you could say it's magic and stuff, but literally, even they can't handle the logic of this show. Pinkie Pie goes up a slide, and Fluttershy is just like, so do we just climb up the slide or what? They can't handle the logic. Obviously, they, I guess, slide the slide themselves. We never see it, but, they just can't question the logic of the show, so why can't we question the logic? No one should question the logic. It's a fun show, we shouldn't do that. So yeah, so finally they get the parties right, the Vikings are happy, and, yeah, it's pretty darn good. So what do I think of this episode overall? Pretty hilarious, pretty amazing. It's probably one of the best episodes, and also it's one of those unique episodes that every time I watch a cartoon, I always have kind of I always frowned a little bit because, there's one of those literally long, dragging scenes in a cartoon nowadays, and, I pretty much just, whatever, I'm still having fun watching it. But this is probably one of the first, shows and also episode that I ever saw where I was smiling the entire way. I was literally smiling when I was watching this episode all the way through, because I don't remember one point where I was just frowning saying, oh great, we're in this scene again. No, I was literally laughing at every point. And also Tara Strong probably brings one of her over-the-top performances again. And let me tell you, it's wonderful just to see her go over the top. Her over-the-top moments just bring me joy. Like, ever since the episode Lesson Zero, let me tell you, it's always brought a smile to my face. How she manages to bring her acting skills to, like, saying, you know what? Let me just go over the top for one day, because that's how she is. She is over the freaking top Tara Strong, and that's what she's good at. And even if I get the name wrong, I'm kind of, pronouncing the name a little bit hard. I think Andrea Lidman, like, her over-top performance as Pinkie Pie is great. I thought she was amazing in this episode. Her, like, how she does Pinkie Pie, how she pretty much, how her character is. It's pretty amazing. She is an amazing actress, and she deserves a lot of respect, I can tell you that. So yeah, I think this is like, obviously, it's not one of the best, but it's definitely an episode that really got me smiling all the way to the end. And let me tell you, that big hug that Pinkie Pie got, I don't understand why she even says that it's too strong. I mean, come on, the Strongholds handled that. And plus, don't ponies hug each other all the time? Like, why are they so stressful about big hugs? But of course, that's it. So Black Belt Dragon signing out, and I'll see you on the next episode of Friendship is Magic Season 5, Episode 12. Oh, and if you're probably wondering why I did not, I skipped an episode and did an episode of Princess Spike, the reason for that was because I already tweeted about it, saying that I didn't find anything really interesting about the episode. I think it was like one of the most simplest episodes ever. So I didn't find anything interesting about it, so I couldn't do a vlog for it. There was nothing really to talk about. Yeah, there was nothing really to talk about, but except for one thing that was in Princess Spike that actually one person noticed on Twitter that I actually catched up on. Will Smith, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, made a cameo.
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel-Air. In West Philadelphia, born and raised, on the playground is where I spend most of my days. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool and all, shooting some b-ball outside of the